will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing. Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in today, and apologies for coming in late. Oh, like always, like I say, there's always something, right? Something that happens, and today was actually misplacing the text that we're supposed to be reading today. Thank you so much for joining in, but it is here. We're here and ready to go. Thank you so much for joining in, and please, as always, let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. Welcome to Storytime. Happy Wednesday to you and your loved ones. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for joining us, and wherever you are, I hope that you are having a lovely start to your day. I hope that your day has been good, if it is much later in the day, of course. And some adverse weather coming up in different parts, and I hope that your area is not too affected. And please do check your weather forecast to see what you need to do in case you need to carry that umbrella, or indeed maybe stay indoors. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Welcome. And today we bring back two Storytime, one that has been read many times at this time of the year as MLK Day draws near, and this one is called Marvelous Cornelius. Yes, indeed. Hurricane Katrina and the Spirit of New Orleans. This one is written by Phil Bildner and illustrations by John Parra. And of course, we are reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Yes, indeed. Marvelous Cornelius coming right up. Thank you indeed for being here with us on Storytime. How are you doing? I hope that you are as excited to read this story as I am today. Thank you indeed for being here. Let us see who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy this wonderful story. Good morning to you. How are you doing? From a dreary Kentucky today. And they say, even though the weather is dreary, I'm glad that we're here to be here with Megan and Ari. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What a way to start off the day, too. I love that. I love that. Thank you for joining us, Kathy, and of course, Ari and Megan. Thank you for being here with us out there in Kentucky. And hopefully, Marvelous Cornelius' spirit helps lift up your spirits as well today. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely love it that we're here together. Please, if you're joining us here live, let us know you're here so we can say hi to you. And of course, if you're joining us later on for the recordings, please do remember to leave us a message so we can check in and say hi to you. But of course, remember too that you can catch Storytime at storytimewithmrlimata.com, at Storytime with Mr. Limata on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Instagram. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And excited for this story. Please get comfortable, get ready, get cozy. Go grab what you need to make this Storytime even better. Happy Wednesday to each and every one of you joining us today. Excited to be here with you all. Thank you indeed for joining us here on Storytime. Ariel Thomas, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you had a lovely evening. Thank you for joining us here on Storytime. And yes, first time comment, I see Ariel. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Good to see you, and hopefully see you on many, many more Storytimes to come. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, do let us know to your favorites. Let us know some recommendations that you would love to see here on Storytime, and we will do our very best to bring them here to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you are okay, and I hope that indeed you have a lovely, lovely day. Before we go into go away from the screen today, we do have a wonderful story to read together. Marvelous Cornelius coming right up. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Please get ready, get comfortable, get cozy, go, 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 grab what you need, get your pets close, get those stuffed animals close, everything that you need to make this story even better. I'll catch you on the other side of this very short message.
This is Anika Rose-Reese, author of The Teacher's Pet, Watch Out for Wolf, Love Sophia on the Moon, the Anna Banana chapter book series, and Hide and Don't Seek and other very scary stories. And you are watching Storytime with Mr. Limata.
Welcome back. Indeed, if you've not checked out Anika Rose-Reese's amazing books, please do, including some of my favorites here. Love Sophia on the Moon, of course, stands out. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Here we go with our story for today. And thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Marvelous Cornelius, Hurricane Katrina and the Spirit of New Orleans, written by Phil Bildner and illustrated by John Parra. You know, New Orleans is one of those places, or one of those names that every time I say, I'm just thinking, like, how would a native, you know, of New Orleans say it? And I don't think I'll ever get it right. So if you're there and you know it, please do share. Here we go. Oh. Marvelous Cornelius, Hurricane Katrina and the Spirit of New Orleans. Written by Phil Bildner, illustrated by John Parra, and read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Yes, Harry. Cannot forget. Yes, all of you, and of course, here, myself and the stories. We are the morning ingredients, isn't it? Thank you so much. Yep. Oh, I love it. And with MLK drawing close, and of course, too, that we know the events that happened as out when he was supporting the sanitation workers, we thought it is only fitting that we start with this quote today from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Even if it's called your lot to be a street sweeper, go out and sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Handel and Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. Yeah, whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability. In the quarter, there worked a man known in New Orleans as Marvelous Cornelius. Yeah. In the quarter, there worked a man known in New Orleans as Marvelous Cornelius. Morning, he saluted the silver-haired man with the Times-Picayune tacked under his arm. Greetings, he waved to the couple with the baby on the balcony. Ma'am, he nodded to the woman shaking rags out of her front window. Yeah, say hello to somebody. Spread a little cheer. Morning, saluted the silver-haired man with the Times-Picayune tacked under his arm. Greetings, he waved to the couple with the baby on the balcony. Ma'am, he nodded to the woman shaking rugs out her front window. And when his truck rounded the turn, "My young'uns," he called to the kids crowding the corner. "Marvelous Cornelius," they cheered. "Marvelous Cornelius." And talking of which, it is trash day for me today. Is it for you as well? And when he rounded the turn, "My young'uns," he called to the kids crowding the corner. "Marvelous Cornelius, marvelous Cornelius," they cheered. At each home, Cornelius sashayed to the curb and shimmied to the hopper. Unloading the garbage, not a single praline wrapper even ever stayed on the streets. And those spotless streets, oh, how they sparkled. At each home, Cornelius sashayed to the curb and shimmied to the hopper, unloading the garbage. Not a single praline wrapper ever stayed out on the street. And those spotless streets, oh, how they sparkled. "Woo, woo, woo, woo," he called to his driver when it was time to stop. "Woo! Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat," he strummed the side when it was time to move. "Hooty-hoo, hooty-hoo," his favorite call of all of them. "Showtime!" Yes. "Whoa, whoa, whoa," he called to the driver when it was time to stop. "Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat," he strummed the side when it was time to move. "Hooty-hoo, hooty-hoo," his favorite call. "It's showtime." Yeah. I can actually hear the garbage truck right now outside. Cornelius' front flipped to the curb and flung the bags over his head, behind his back, between his legs, into the truck. Oh my goodness, some skill. He lined bags along the curb and then launched them. Bag after bag after bag after bag after bag. They landed in a perfect pyramid inside the hopper's metal mouth. Whoa. Love it. Bang! He clapped the covers like cymbals and twirled the tins like tops, wheezing and spinning back and forth across the street. Looks like Cornelius is having some fun, isn't he? Yeah. He clapped the covers like cymbals and twirled the tins like tops, wheezing and spinning back and forth across the street. And just like those twisting tops, Cornelius danced too, tangoing up Toulouse, samboing down St. Peter, rumbering up Royale, sashaying down Charters, and everyone danced along. Right? Yeah. No, just so full of joy. I love it too. I love it. I am with you, Harry and Megan, for sure. And just like those twisting tops, Cornelius danced too, tangoing up Toulouse, samboing down St. Peter, rumbering up Royale, cha-chaing down charters, and everyone danced along. The old ladies whistled and wailed. The old man hooted and hollered. The barbers, bead twirlers, and beignet bakers bounded behind the one-man parade. Ah. Now I want a beignet. That would be perfect this cold morning here in Oakland. Yes. And everyone danced along. The ladies whistled and whirled. The old man hooted and hollered. The barbers, bead twirlers, and beignet bakers bounded behind the one-man parade. Yeah. But then one day, the storm came. The great city filled with water. No. But then one day, the storm came. The great city filled with water. People and pets, parks and playgrounds washed away. Schools and shops, streets and streetcars washed away. For far too long, water, water everywhere, a gumble of mush and mud. Yeah. Then one day, a storm came. The great city filled with water. People and pets, parks and playgrounds washed away. Schools and shops, streets and streetcars washed away. For far too long, water, water everywhere, a gumble of mush and mud. When those waters finally fell away, Cornelius looked out at the mountains of ruins. Some as high as the steeple atop St. Louis Cathedral. Wow. It would take thousands of me to clean this, he wept. Millions, in fact. Wow. When those waters finally fell away, Cornelius looked out the mountains of ruins. Some as high as the steeple atop St. Louis Cathedral. It would take thousands of me to clean this, he wept. Millions. Oh, what can Cornelius do? Cornelius rose. He dried his eyes, for his spirit and will were waterproof. Oh, yes, indeed. Cornelius rose. He dried his eyes, for his spirit and will were waterproof. Yeah. And just like he did every morning, he emptied the garbage into his hopper. And the kids who crowded the corner, they pitched in too. Oh. So did the silver-haired man, the couple from the balcony, the woman with the rugs, the old ladies and old men, the barbers, bead twirlers, and beignet bakers. Everyone chipped in. Everyone played their part. Yeah. Others too, from Brooklyn and Boise, Baltimore, and Bakersfield, Syracuse, Seattle, Santa Fe, San Antonio, all over. They streamed to the Crescent City, thousands, millions, a flag of humanity. Yeah. Maybe you know somebody that was there to help with the cleanup of in New Orleans after Katrina. Yes. Everyone, the beignet bakers, the old ladies, the kids, the silver-haired man, everybody chipped in. Others too, from Brooklyn and Boise, Baltimore and Bakersfield, Syracuse, Seattle, Santa Fe, San Antonio. They streamed to the Crescent City. Thousands, millions, a flood of humanity. Hooty hoo, hooty hoo, marvelous Cornelius cheered. Hooty hoo. Yes, indeed. Others too streamed to the Crescent City. Thousands, millions, a flood of humanity. Hooty hoo, hooty hoo. As the great city rose again, marvelous Cornelius, he passed on. But as for his spirit, that's part of New Orleans. New Orleans forever after. Oh, yes. As the great city rose again, marvelous Cornelius, he passed on. But as for his spirit, that's part of New Orleans. New Orleans forever after. Oh. And that is the end of our story. When we come back from break, we'll get to look at the author's note very quickly. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. I hope that cheered you up, that indeed inspired you. Remember that you can play your little part in your neighborhood, in your city, in your town, in your state, in this country, in the whole world. Why not? Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Absolutely love this one. And we'll be right back after this short break. Marvelous Cornelius, Hurricane Katrina, and the Spirit of New Orleans. Written by Phil Bildner and illustrations by John Parra. And of course, read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining in today. I'll catch you on the other side of this very short message. Thank you for being here with us today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda with Amanda Weltman Photography. I'm a photographer and printmaker based in the Pacific Northwest, and I believe that your face deserves wall space. Enjoy today's story time with my favorite storyteller, Mr. Limata.
Thank you indeed, Amanda Waltman. And indeed, if you do need pictures, you know where to go. Amanda Waltman Photography, and she is based out there in Seattle, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. And of course, thank you indeed for taking the time to be here with us. Here's the author's note from today. And to some of the words in here, just a reminder of how I probably mispronounced most of them. There is a pronunciation guide at the back, so you can check it out if you manage to get a copy of this from the local library. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. I got to lose though. I know I did. Oh, no, not praline. It's proline. But every time it's a reminder. When I'm reading, I cannot even remember what I saw, what I saw on the guide. So next time, if you know those New Orleans pronunciations, please do share and bear with me. Here's the author's note. In the years following Hurricane Katrina, I visited New Orleans many times to help in the cleanup and recovery. Often I chaperoned groups of teen volunteers. When I did those trips, always evolved into incredibly uplifting and life-affirming experiences. They always became about the people. One person I met was Katie Ruckdahl, a reporter from the Times-Picayune. While Katrina was lashing the Gulf Coast in August of 2005, Katie was giving birth to her son, Hector, at Toro Infirmary in New Orleans, Garden District. After meeting Katie, I read some of her archived articles, including one titled Talking Trash. It was a feature about Cornelius Washington, a sanitation worker in the French Quarter who sang and danced and performed tricks, a wizard of trash cans. I had to learn about him. Sadly, Cornelius passed away not long after Hurricane Katrina, but with Katie's help, I located his mother, Miss Mary Wiley. Miss Mary still lived in the tiny town of Waterproof, Louisiana, where she raised Cornelius. Miss Mary and I spoke on the phone several times. She sent me a letter too, a handwritten letter filled with memories of Cornelius. Whenever I read it, it was as if the Cornelius I had seen in video clips. The bald-headed man with the big hoop earring and the New Orleans drawl was reading to me. Cornelius' story has the flavor of folktales and folk heroes like John Henry, and by incorporating repetition, alliteration, and exaggeration, I have tried to honor those qualities in the telling. Still, it must be said that while Cornelius was certainly a showman, he may not have twirled lids like tops and clapped them like cymbals. He had signals and calls, but they weren't the exact ones described here. The garbage bags threw into the hopper probably didn't land in perfect pyramid, nor did the distraction following Katrina rise as high as the steeple atop St. Louis Cathedral. And though he was celebrated and beloved in his neighborhood, he was not called Marvelous Cornelius, but he deserves to be. On so many levels, Cornelius symbolizes what the city of New Orleans is all about. The energy, the spirit, the magic, the people. That's what brought all those volunteers to the Crescent City. And inside each one was a little bit of Marvelous Cornelius. Yes. And it goes on to highlight, too, that you can find the story of the real Cornelius Washington and I'll put this up, too, as well at chroniclebooks.com/Cornelius Washington. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope that gives you more insight into this amazing book that we just read, and of course to the amazing character that is Cornelius Washington. Oh, marvelous Cornelius. Thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for joining in too for that back matter of Marvelous Cornelius. We're back again here tomorrow with another exciting story, and this time we'll be reading The Quickest Kid in Clarksville. Join us for this one, coming to us from Pat Zitlow Miller and Frank Morrison. And yes, indeed, thank you so much for joining in. One of the lines that stood out for me in the book, I mean, there's so much, but let me see if I can find it. Yes, this part. Cornelius rose. He dried his eyes, for his spirit and will were waterproof. I hope that your will and spirit remain intact. They are waterproof no matter what we may go through. I hope that you come out on the other side even better, a much better person as well. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime today. Absolutely love the time that we get to spend together. I hope that you are well, whatever you're doing, whether you're laying in bed right now, whether you're sitting on a couch, whether you are sitting in that favorite chair in your corner spot, whatever you're doing, I hope that you enjoyed that story. And please remember to always send us your recommendations so we can keep bringing books that you would love to see here on Storytime. Love to have read here on Storytime. And tomorrow we bring back another one, The Quickest Kid in Clarksville. Yes, get your running shoes on tomorrow. Come on out and join us and enjoy this one from Pat Zitlow Miller and Frank Morrison. And of course, we will be reading that one as well with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Let us see this morning who was here with us enjoying that wonderful story. Ariel Thomas, thank you so much for joining in today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope that the kids are kinder to you at school today. I hope you have lots of laughs. Please remember to check the weather before you go on out. I know it'll be raining and cold out here in Oakland, so please do be careful out there. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Kathy, thank you so much for joining in. And you say good morning from a dreary Kentucky. Even though the weather is dreary, I am glad to be here with Megan and Ari. Oh my goodness, I feel the love in the comments there for sure. Kathy, Kathy, thank you so much. Of course, Ari and Megan say they are grateful to have you there with them. Oh, we're grateful to have you here with us on Storytime as well. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Yes, morning ingredients. We're here to encourage each other, to learn from each other, and indeed, to remind each other that we have a role to play in our communities. Our voices matter. Your voice matters. You are important. You're beautiful just the way you are. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. And yes, I hope, like Cornelius, we find our joy today and days to come. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. To everybody that was here, absolutely appreciate you. Hugs to you, and hopefully we can get some Storytime swag to you very, very shortly, very soon. So keep an eye out from your inbox and see what will be coming your way. Yes, indeed, we have some really cool Storytime swag that is out right now. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime today. Absolutely love it. Hugs to you, and we'll see you again tomorrow for more Storytime when we're back with the quickest kid in Clarksville. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Much love. Bye-bye.
Storytime with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Storytime with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing stories. Read me all of the stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing